Hey everyone, it's Jem with ChappyPlans. Thanks for joining me for Project Life. This is week 18, so stick around. Hey friends, it's Jem with ChappyPlans. Thanks for being here. This is my Project Life album I work on each week to capture photos and stories of the week, both big and small, just depending on how each week goes. This week is number 18, and that means there's just, like another month and a half before I am finished with volume 1 of this project. It's my favorite way to memory keep in a simple format, for the most part simple, and I just showed you some of the embellishments I'll be using. So the first 3 days of the month were in April, but since I've kind of outgrown the April Stories by the Month kit, I was ready to move on to May's, and that's what I chose to use to document this week. So I have already pre-selected all of the cards and photos, printed them out on my home printer. It's just an Epson 2800 Eco Tank, or 2803 I think it's called. And then I decided to use, I love the embellishments that come with the kit, but they were a little big for the photos and didn't quite work for me. So I ended up dipping into my stash and just finding some puffy stickers, which are always my favorite embellishment, that had some colors that would match. And so I've got a set from Chamel by American Crafts collection, and then another set from Obed Marshall with American Crafts, and then some chipboard star stickers, which are old, from Studio Calico. I've got some labels from Ellie Studios, so I've got a mixture of different things that I'm going to be using to decorate these memories here. So the title card, this whole 9x12 page protector is made up of three 3x4 slots. So rather than using my typical 4x6 card to create a title, I've got a 3x4, and I figured this is a good way to utilize this floral pattern. And I actually, it worked out well switching over to this month's kit, because the left side of the spread has a lot of yellows and blues and greens in the pictures, and then the right side has a lot of reds and pinks and oranges. So that is how I laid out the spread for the week, and then just used stickers here and there and some labels here and there. And then also you saw me show you my Sharpie paint pens, the brush pens, and pulled colors that coordinated for this week as well, because I'm going to write directly on the photos here and there. So the other two photos, there's a selfie of myself with one of the kindergartners that I worked with earlier in the week at school, and then flowers that my husband chose for me after a really terrible day on Thursday. I did put them up at the top because I thought they made a nice popped punch of color, and so that's where I put them in the spread. Typically I try to put all of the photos that I took in the first half of the week on the left, and then all the photos I took for the second half of the week on the right. But where they land on that page configuration just depends on the way I want it to look. So I just have this old quote die cut that is from Allie Edwards, and it just says, "All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us." It's from Lord of the Rings, and I thought it was a perfect quote just for work. Oh, and there was my kitten walking across the desk. He makes an appearance a couple of times, I think. And then I use the labels just to journal about the flowers that were a really welcome surprise for my husband. I chose to just add a little yellow flower, a couple yellow flowers from the Obed Marshall sticker sheet because of obviously the yellow flowers in the picture, and then called that row finished. And then on the middle row, there was just a vellum card that said nice that I left plain and didn't add anything to. There's a middle picture there of Smokey and Toothless in the cat tower, and then a journaling card that I wrote about our week. And on the picture of Smokey and Toothless, I just put the chipboard joys, added a little bow tie because I thought that was perfect for the two boys together, and then a couple of hearts, and I just wrote caught playing nice, which is why I chose that nice vellum card to the left. And then on the card that says embracing this change pivot, I used my Sharpie pen to label it this week and then add bullets. And so I wrote that work was challenging, balancing YouTube was overwhelming because I was working 4 days, Matt had worship and a long day at work. So I ended up taking Nora to dance both times this week. She had her second part of her ELA test for New York State, and that we were both glad it was over. And that Tuesday, I took Nora to get ice cream as a treat, only to find that the store was closed, which ended in a giant temper tantrum. Not fun. Do not recommend. Then the bottom row is the picture of Nora on Wednesday at the ice cream place, which we then discovered was open. So we all went. I took Nora to get ice cream. And then the picture on the right is a selfie with a student in one of the other classrooms I'm in wearing a sweatshirt that I gave her. So I just embellished that with a little cluster of the chipboard and some puffy stickers. And then the middle card is a journaling card that says saying no. And I wrote with my Sharpie pen worst day ever and talked about how Thursday I worked in a self-contained classroom and ended up getting beat up a little bit. And so I was pretty defeated. And also it was like very, very loud. Also, I apologize for the background noise. My husband's making dinner just across the hall from me. What was I talking about? Oh, Thursday. Oh my gosh. So physically got a little beat up and it was overstimulating. Like the noise was just super loud. It was very challenging and I was really honestly ready to quit at the end of that day, even though I don't know how the other TAs do it every day. I really don't. I mean, they usually don't last more than a year because it is so difficult to be in those types of environments, especially when you're getting choked. And I have one student in particular who likes to chase me around the classroom and swat at me and pull my shirt and pull my chest area. And it's just very difficult. And I was feeling very mentally defeated. Plus, just there was other things going on personally for me that like I wasn't in the best headspace, you know? So at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, I just need to take Nora to therapy. I can go home, work out, and just relax. Well, I walked out and my car was not there. And I like had this panic where I was like, where is my car? Did I park it somewhere I don't remember? And then I remembered that the day before they were doing a street cleaning but I didn't see any signs the morning I parked the car. But apparently they were doing that side of the street, so my car got towed. And it ended up costing me, like one of the teachers saw me crying on the corner and that she took Nora and I to the place where they towed it and, you know, it was all good, but I was out $200. So it was like, I felt like I had worked for nothing, like the measly like $100 a day that I make then resulted in me, you know, if I hadn't gone to work that day, I would have saved myself $200, right? And the trauma and annoyance of getting my car towed. But anyway, there's the spread in real time. It was rough. It was really, really rough. And I'm still very bitter about the whole thing because I feel like the principal could see the car being towed and chose not to tell me, if you can believe it, but that's the kind of guy that he is. So that's a whole other story for another day that I don't really feel comfortable discussing on public social media, but feel free to DM me if you want more tea. Anyways, moving on to the right. Thank God for Friday. That's what this rainbow picture is that my husband pointed out to Nora and I while we were at dinner. So I wrote Friday gifts, and then this little cloud quote says, "No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world." That's from the movie Dead Poets Society, and I just thought it was perfect, and the picture sums up the fact that, yeah, like it was a crappy day the day before. So thank God for the rainbow. Thank God for Friday. And oddly enough, it's the only picture I got from Friday. So I ended up doing some journaling later on this right side of the spread because we ended up also going shopping. Nora needs a whole new wardrobe because she grows so quickly. So every season since she's been a baby, we have gotten her new shoes, new clothes, new whatever the season requires, coats, swimwear, all the things. And so we ended up getting her some clothes and shoes. And then that's it for Friday. Saturday, Nora got to go to a birthday party, which I shared some of that in my Instagram story, so follow me there if you're not. So 2 of those pictures are from the party at Sky Zone, which is an indoor trampoline park if you don't have one near you. So I just journaled about that on the Saying Yes card. I wrote that Nora wanted to stay after the party was over because there was a glow jump event that went late. So we ended up staying till 8:30, which actually was a nightmare because then she was like overtired, had too much sugar, her stomach hurt, which it's actually still hurting. So maybe it wasn't all the sugar and it's the celiac flare-up. I don't know. That's the fun of celiac. You just never know. It's like a guessing game. And so she actually was up for 3 hours from Saturday to Sunday in the middle of the night. And it was, honestly, she's been a bad sleeper since she was born, but this was one of the worst sleepless nights we've had. My poor husband had to get up and go to church for 8:30 for practice for worship. So it was really rough. It was a rough weekend, but the party itself was really fun. So the bottom row is just the picture of Nora taking a nap after church. And then I journaled about Saturday and Sunday on the 4x6 card that says 1, 2, 3, 4. And it just has jumping off point. It says, "This makes me smile." And so I talked about how, dinner was a nice end to the terrible week, the shopping, Matt spending more quality time with Nora, and he took her to get boba on Saturday. They also did grocery shopping together while I cleaned the house, which is what I talked about on the number 4 slot of that 4x6 journaling card, just how I got a lot done over the weekend, felt very productive, ordered some clothes online, and finished week 2 of exercising, which is very exciting. And that is it. It was not my favorite week. I'm not happy with the way the month started because Thursday was May 1st, which is when my car got towed. I'm feeling a little burnt out work-wise and just ready for summer. But I know that's coming soon. Our last day is June 27th, I believe, or 6th. So just a couple more months here. But yeah, friends, that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I think it's pretty interesting the way it turned out, given that I used Ellie Edwards cards and the kit, but didn't use any of the embellishments for the decorative parts of the way this turned out. So yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts and how your week was. Definitely take a look at the close-ups in real time of the finished right side of the spread. I think it turned out really cute. Again, I really love that the right side is all pink, red, and yellow, and the left is all blue, green, or pink and red, and the left is all blue and green. Here's a close-up of the right side and how it looks all together. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, friends. Remember that you are enough. Bye.